This week, sharing some words of Torah, someone in our congregation who's very shy, very quiet as a speaker. So I want to make sure that you give him lots of patience when he comes up here to the bima, so you really can listen to all of the words of wisdom that are coming our way. Jerry, you ready? Okay.
Shabbat shalom.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a special Haftorah today. One of my favorites in the whole Chumash. That's why I chose it, I'll be honest with you. Chayer Sarah. Today's Torah reading tells us that Sarah died at 127 years old. Just think of that. And Abraham brought the nearby field and the cave of Machpelah from Ephron the Hittite as a burial place for Sarah. Then he asked his advisor, Eliezer, go find a wife for son Yitzchak, but not from any daughters of the Canaanites. During the trip, Rivka arrived at the well and drew water. But she drew water for Eliezer and made certain to give water to his camels also. It should be told that Rivka was the granddaughter of Nahor, Abraham's brother. Note that Abraham insisted that a wife for Yitzhak come from members of his own family, not from Canaanites who were idol worshippers. But there's one thing you may not know. Abraham's own family in Aram, Nacharaim, were devoted idol worshippers. Why this dilemma? Abraham knew that certain characteristics are inherited by children from their parents. Mercy, compassion, can only be taught to a degree. It must be part of the person. It must be part of you. You can't go to Harvard and say, teach me how to have compassion. You have it or you don't. On the other side, idol worship is dependent on a person's intellect, his mind. A person can select or reject idol worship, and in Rivka, Abraham would find a future mother of Bnei Yisrael, a woman who was merciful, she was bashful, and a doer of chesed. This was a quality that made Rivka a worthy member of Klal Yisrael's founding family. Abraham died at 175 years, and he was buried by sons Yitzchak and Yishmael in the cave he had bought, the cave of Machpelah. I must tell you quite honestly that he was promised the cave, obviously, for no money at all. Give it away. But then, very simply, changed his mind, Ephron, and he said, give me 400 shekels for the cave. And I want to put this together with politicians who promise one thing and deliver another. This cave is situated in Hebron, and the list of burials there is vital. Odom, Chava, Abraham, Yitzchak, Rivka, Yaakov, Leah, all joined Sarah in that burial spot. Rivka was a person where chesed was part of her character. She was genuine. She wasn't a phony. And this quality of chesed and concern for others is what we ourselves should search for in our families. Rivka genuinely cared about other people. She was not a phony. We as Jews can learn from Rivka, and history has proved it. There's a Jewish zeal we have for politics, and it's a de facto Jewish religion. with all we've gone through, as a people, we are still messianic, and our religion is politics. Milton Himmelfarb said it best many, many years ago. He was a part of the American Jewish Committee. Milton Himmelfarb was an intellectual. And he said very simply, Jews believe we will create a better world. Tikkun olam. Would we have a belief in social justice, civil liberties, and the welfare of others? Just like Rivka had, the welfare of others. Compassion. Something you can't learn. You have it or you don't. Investigate who was at the forefront of the civil rights marches in the 1960s. Who marched arm in arm with Martin Luther King? We did. We believe that caring and compassion for others would mean that our own situation would be better. However, it butters no parsnips to overlook the fact of another issue. Many feel that we should not be too Jewish. Don't wear it on your sleeve. Don't be too conspicuous. So let's ask the vital question. And Milton Himmelfarb asked this question too many years ago. I just heard it on the radio the other day on ABC Radio. I listen at night, the talk show. Is there a Jewish vote? Are we bright enough and smart enough and wise enough to take our own survival into account? For decades, ladies and gentlemen, Jews voted the Liberal Party line. Liberalism, social justice, social reforms were part of Torah ideology and philosophy. But things changed. We were in the forefront of the civil rights movement. And then things changed badly. How? We became the first targets by the very people that we marched for. During the Six-Day War, we stood alone. The Council of Churches was silent, not a word. And the United Church today, the biggest denomination in Canada, the United Church of Canada, has a problem very simply. I was at their conclave a couple of days ago with anti-Semitism. The National Post argued in a headline, you should see that, I was going to bring the National Post today. The United Church has a problem with anti-Semitism. You should read the minutes of the United Church conclave. I have them here. Everything focused on Israel. This past summer, I attended the conclave also 10 years ago at Carleton University. 10 years ago, they had their conclave at Carleton University, the United Church. The minutes are mind-boggling, mind-boggling. And most of their problems in the world settled on Israel. Israel was the focus of everything. All the evil in the world on Israel. All the problems in the world on Israel. I have the minutes. 300 pages. 300 pages. 10 years ago, Carleton University. Even after October 7th, they have not changed their tune. Years ago, Milton Himmelfarb put it this way: our overriding interest of any kind should be Israel. If which God forbid should ever cease to exist, don't we understand that the Jews would cease to exist also? There is no debate about this. Jews have been high up in the political arena for years. They have been advisors and thinkers and financial managers and analysts. Again, we believe in creating a better world. That's the lesson we learned from Rivka. Empathy is the key. But here, there is a problem. We see as a people, and we realize that we're alone much of the time. During the Six-Day War, alone. The Yom Kippur War, alone. October 7th, alone. We finally came to realize that we had no choice but to speak up for ourselves. We began to realize, finally, that if there was black power and Muslim power and any other power you want to call on, there should be Jewish power. During the Six-Day War, the Council of Churches was silent. Where was the justice? Finally, after October 7th, even our own government, and I don't want to make this too political, but I am making it political because I was very upset. After October 7th, our own government acted in a shameful manner. Our own Minister of Global Affairs, Melanie Joly at the time, addressed a question in Parliament and later on in a scrum. She was asked how she was going to vote on a certain issue during the Gaza war. This is what she said, right out of her mouth, exact words, not making it up. She said to the reporters standing around, "Have you seen the demographics of my writing? That's how I'm going to vote." Many of you might not understand that. Have you seen the demographics of my writing? A Minister of Global Affairs, a Minister of Foreign Affairs in the Canadian government. That's how she was going to vote on an issue affecting Gaza and Israel. And our Prime Minister at the time, Justin Trudeau, I have nothing more to say. Nothing. Nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, Am Yisrael Chai, our wish is Hashanah, as we say in Pesach, at the very, very last line. Hashanah Haba'a Yerushalayim, may Israel never cease to exist, because we will cease to exist as a people. Shabbat Shalom.
It's nice to see you coming out of your shell a little bit. In all seriousness, thank you for your passion, Gerry. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Thank you for the words you brought to our bima this morning. We're going to continue with the Musaf service on page 155. I'll invite you to please rise for the Chatzi Kaddish. Amen.
And thank you also to Professor Gerry Cammy for his Dvar Torah, which, at least by Gerry's standards, was not too political. That's what he said. Okay, you're only allowed to heckle the president, not the person who gave the Dvar Torah. And it's possible, I'm still thinking about whether I'll reflect a little on my presidency or not. Maybe I'll say a couple of things. It won't be too long. So that's, sorry? Well, it won't be too political, let me put it that way. I think I can meet the Gerry Cammy standard of not too political. All right. So that's this Thursday. Do plan to join us. If you didn't get the email, it's because you're not a member, and you've got time to become a member between now and Thursday.